So recently Blizzard sent out a poll seeing if anyone would be interested in playing a classic version of the Burning Crusade. And as soon as I saw this, I would be extremely interested if I got the poll. But in the meantime, let's go back and take a retrospective on the Burning Crusade and why it was so successful. The easiest answer would be that it was an extension of a game that we all grew to know and love. As for Classic, I believe it'll be successful if they release it simply due to nostalgia. I still remember heading to Blasted Lands to go through the Dark Portal, finally leaving Azeroth to go to the Outland. And just like the Blasted Lands, as soon as you went on the other side of the portal, you were greeted by the Burning Legion. But you were also greeted by a wonderful skybox. I still believe that the skybox in Outland holds up to this day, especially because people will compare it to Argus. After leaving the Dark Portal, players will go to their faction town and will be quickly introduced to their first dungeon, Hellfire Ramparts. There were plenty of reused assets, but the environment surrounding you was new, so you didn't really mind. There are several dungeons found in Hellfire Citadel, Hellfire Ramparts, the Blood Furnace, Shattered Halls, and Megtherodon's Lair. After leveling out of Hellfire Peninsula, you'll make your way to Zangarmarsh. And while the openness of Hellfire Peninsula was new, this zone also have a new appeal given that everything is overgrown, mushrooms, and things that we haven't seen before. Like the Coilfang Reservoir, which was home to the Slave Pens, the Underbog, the Steam Vault, and Serpentshrine Cavern, which would later be a Tier 5 raid. Serpentshrine Cavern, or SSC, would turn out to be a very difficult raid for guilds that weren't overly prepared or able to nail down certain mechanics of the fight. At this point, we've still had separate faction towns, so at some point we have to find Capital City. In this case, we were given Shattrath City, a sanctuary city where no combat could occur and is shared by both factions. The idea of a sanctuary city isn't new to us now, but in 2007, this was very new. There were only shared towns such as Gadgetzan and Booty Bay, and with the sanctuary city came a somewhat familiar concept of picking what reputation you like and becoming hated by the other. That was the Scryer and the Eldor. And while Terakar Forest didn't hold any raids, there were 4 dungeons such as Manitombs, Auchenai Crypts, Sethek Halls, and Shadow Labyrinth. Battlemasters, they were there for PvP Arena, which would grow to be one of WoW's most enjoyed forms of PvP. It wouldn't be right if I didn't mention Skedis, part of Terakar Forest, where everyone did their dailies to get their nether ray, which included destroying plenty of eggs. As for my favorite zone, Nagrand. It was the only zone in Outland that was absolutely bright. It was inviting. It was wonderful. The zone also featured an outdoor PvP area called Hala. But this is World of Warcraft, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't hear the drums of war at some point, and that was Blade's Edge Mountain, one of the worst zones to try to traverse, and overall story. The zone wasn't completely bad though. It gave us our first 25-man raid, Gruul's Lair. After Karazhan, it was challenging for some, and Gruul's Lair would turn out to be a Tier 4 raid. And plenty of us spent way too much time doing dailies up in this zone, partially for the Nether Ray that was mentioned earlier. And playing this Simon Says like minigame, which was incredibly frustrating at first. As mentioned earlier, we were introduced to Arena PvP, compositions of 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5. Arena was a breath of fresh air for those who were tired of Battlegrounds but still wanted PvP. Were there aliens here, or did they have a rocket ship for no reason? I've always enjoyed the ecodomes in Netherstorm. It was a unique way to add a self-contained area of life in such a desolate place. Netherstorm included dungeons like the Mechanar, the Botanica, the Arcatraz, and the Eye, which would turn into a Tier 5 raid. And similar to SSC, the Eye would prove difficult for certain guilds that couldn't nail down certain mechanics. And the last zone included with the Burning Crusade would be Shadowmoon Valley. The thing I remember most about Shadowmoon Valley was getting my flying mount. At the time, I didn't have enough gold to get an epic flying mount, but I was able to settle for one of the slower ones, and it was an experience. Hitting spacebar and flying off the ground, I don't have words. It was awesome. But all fun must come to an end when you have Illidan Stormrage trying to destroy everybody for whatever reason. And the Black Temple, similar to Naxxramas, would be a guild breaker in some ways. A lot of people didn't see Tier 6. Aside from the Black Temple and getting your flying mount, you also had to look forward to getting your Nether Drake. Farming reputation, whether that was flying with Captain Skyshatter and not getting hit by his bombs, or going into the mine and trying to find eggs. In the last and final patch of the Burning Crusade, patch 2.4, we were given the Sunwell, the Isle of Kel'Danas, and Magister's Terrace. Unfortunately, the Sunwell, just like the Black Temple and Mount Hyjal before it, a lot of players didn't see it until after the next expansion came out. One of the largest selling points for Burning Crusade was the fact that Horde got Paladins and Alliance got Shaman. Historically, that was only reserved for one or the other. If you wanted a Shaman, you had to play Horde. If you wanted a Paladin, you had to play Alliance. But with the Burning Crusade, that was no more. So there you have it. A brief retrospective on WoW, the Burning Crusade, my thoughts on it, my experience, why I think classic Burning Crusade would be a great idea. There were plenty of parts that I did not include in this video, other dungeons, small raids, professions, stuff like that. Leave a comment below if there's something you missed. I can always do a part 2. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching.